Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today, we will continue our discussion on Al Capone, focusing on his crime wars, political influence, and eventual imprisonment. We will also delve into how the United States authorities were able to bring down America's most infamous gangster. To set the stage for this captivating story, we will begin by describing the challenging situation in Chicago during that tumultuous period. Corrupted Chicago. During Al Capone's reign as the notorious crime boss of Chicago, the city was plagued by a pervasive environment of corruption and criminal activity. Capone's rise to power coincided with a time when organized crime thrived, and his influence permeated every level of society. This atmosphere of corruption posed immense challenges for law enforcement agencies attempting to combat the reach and power of organized crime. In Chicago, corruption infiltrated various institutions, from the police force to local government officials. Capone and his criminal empire employed a network of bribes, intimidation, and coercion to ensure their illegal activities went undisturbed. Police officers, politicians, and other officials were often on the payroll of the Chicago outfit, providing protection and turning a blind eye to their illicit operations. Law enforcement agencies faced an uphill battle in their efforts to combat organized crime. The Chicago outfit operated with an intricate web of secrecy, making it difficult to gather evidence or witnesses willing to testify against the powerful criminal organization. Witnesses were often intimidated or silenced through threats, leading to a climate of fear and reluctance to cooperate with authorities. Additionally, Capone utilized advanced surveillance techniques, such as wiretapping, to stay one step ahead of law enforcement. This allowed him to monitor their activities and counter any attempts to disrupt his criminal operations. The Chicago outfit's ability to infiltrate law enforcement agencies further hindered investigations, as corrupt officers would leak information or protect their criminal associates. The challenges faced by law enforcement in combating organized crime extended beyond the corrupt system itself. The combination of corruption, intimidation, and a lack of cooperation from both the public and law enforcement officials made it incredibly difficult to bring Capone to justice. In the face of such formidable obstacles, dedicated law enforcement agents, such as Eliot Ness and his team of untouchables, emerged to take on the challenge of dismantling Capone's empire. Crime wars and rival gangs. During Al Capone's reign, Chicago experienced violent turf wars between his criminal organization, the Chicago outfit, and rival gangs vying for control over illicit activities. These conflicts were fueled by the lucrative opportunities presented by Prohibition and the desire to dominate the city's underworld. One of the most notorious rivalries was between Capone's gang and the North Side gang led by George "Bugs" Moran. The animosity between the two gangs reached its peak with the St. Valentine's Day shooting in 1929, which was an attempt by Capone's organization to eliminate Moran and weaken his gang. The violence escalated as rival factions clashed over control of territories, illegal operations, and valuable resources such as bootlegging routes and speakeasies. These crime wars often involved brazen acts of violence, including drive-by shootings, bombings, and assassinations. Innocent bystanders were caught in the crossfire, and the streets of Chicago became battlegrounds for rival gangs seeking to eliminate their competitors. Law enforcement agencies faced an arduous task in attempting to control the violence and protect the public. The corruption that permeated the police force and other institutions presented a significant hurdle, as some officers were compromised or actively colluded with the criminal organizations. However, there were still dedicated and determined law enforcement officials who sought to bring an end to the violence. One notable effort was the establishment of the Gangster Squad within the Chicago Police Department, led by Detective Sergeant Frank Wilson. This specialized unit focused on gathering intelligence, conducting investigations, and targeting the leaders of criminal organizations. They worked to dismantle the infrastructure of the gangs by arresting key members and disrupting their operations. Furthermore, federal law enforcement agencies, such as the Federal Bureau of Investigation, also became involved in the fight against organized crime. Eliot Ness and the Untouchables. Eliot Ness and his team of federal agents, known as the Untouchables, played a pivotal role in the relentless pursuit of Al Capone and his criminal empire. Formed in the early 1930s, this group was comprised of select law enforcement officers who were determined to bring down Capone and dismantle the Chicago outfit. Eliot Ness, a Prohibition agent, was appointed as the leader of the Untouchables. He was known for his unwavering dedication, incorruptible nature, and relentless pursuit of justice. Under Ness's leadership, the team employed a range of innovative strategies to combat Capone and his gang. One of their key strategies was conducting raids on Capone's illegal breweries, distilleries, and speakeasies. These raids aimed to disrupt Capone's revenue streams and undermine his control over the bootlegging industry. Wiretapping was another crucial tool employed by the Untouchables. They used electronic surveillance to gather evidence against Capone and his associates. By intercepting and recording their conversations, they gained valuable insights into the inner workings of the Chicago outfit. Informants played a significant role in the Untouchables' fight against Capone. The team cultivated a network of informants within the criminal underworld, seeking out individuals willing to provide insider information on Capone's activities. These informants were critical in obtaining actionable intelligence, helping the Untouchables target key individuals and gather evidence for prosecution. The Untouchables also collaborated closely with federal agencies, such as the Internal Revenue Service, to build a case against Capone for tax evasion. By meticulously tracking his finances and establishing his unreported income, they were able to charge Capone with tax-related offenses, ultimately leading to his conviction and imprisonment. The strategies employed by the Untouchables were marked by their tenacity and determination to bring Capone to justice. Their relentless pursuit of evidence, their strategic raids, wiretapping operations, and reliance on informants were instrumental in gathering the necessary evidence to build strong cases against Capone and his criminal associates. Capone's conviction. The investigation into Al Capone's tax evasion was a pivotal turning point in the efforts to bring him to justice. The investigation began with the realization that Capone was living a lavish lifestyle funded by illegal activities, yet he had not paid any income tax. Special Agent Frank Wilson of the IRS was appointed as the lead investigator in the case. He assembled a team of financial experts and forensic accountants to meticulously trace Capone's sources of income and expose his tax evasion. To build a case against Capone, the investigators painstakingly analyzed bank records, property transactions, and witness testimonies. The focus of the investigation was to prove that Capone had evaded taxes on his illegal income, as traditional methods of prosecution for his other criminal activities had proven difficult due to corruption and witness intimidation. The investigation revealed that Capone had earned millions of dollars from bootlegging, gambling, and other illicit operations, but had not paid any taxes on these earnings. In 1931, Capone was indicted on 22 counts of tax evasion. The trial attracted significant media attention and became known as the trial of the century. The prosecution presented a wealth of evidence, including financial records and witness testimonies, which exposed Capone's vast illegal income. Capone's defense team attempted to discredit the evidence and portray him as a legitimate businessman. However, the weight of the evidence against him was overwhelming. On October 17, 1931, Capone was found guilty on 5 counts of tax evasion and subsequently sentenced to 11 years in federal prison, along with hefty fines. Capone's conviction had a significant impact on organized crime in Chicago. It sent a clear message that even the most powerful and untouchable figures in the criminal underworld could be held accountable for their crimes. It also exposed the vulnerabilities of organized crime networks and their leaders, as the focus on tax evasion revealed the financial underpinnings of their operations. Capone's imprisonment marked a decline in the Chicago outfit's power and influence. With their leader behind bars, the organization faced internal strife and struggled to maintain its control over illegal activities. While other criminal organizations attempted to fill the power vacuum left by Capone, the conviction had a lasting impact on the perception of organized crime and its ability to operate with impunity. His legacy and impact. Al Capone's influence on organized crime in the United States was profound. His successful operation of an extensive criminal empire during the Prohibition era set a precedent for subsequent organized crime figures. Capone's ruthless tactics, strategic thinking, and ability to amass power and wealth became a blueprint for future mob bosses. Capone's criminal enterprise demonstrated the potential profits and control that could be achieved through illicit activities such as bootlegging, gambling, and prostitution. His organizational skills and ability to forge alliances with other criminal organizations set the stage for the formation of syndicates and the establishment of organized crime networks across the country. Al Capone's criminal activities also played a significant role in the downfall of Prohibition. His successful operation of illegal alcohol production, distribution, and speakeasies undermined the effectiveness of the nationwide ban on alcohol. Capone's organization supplied alcohol to the public demand, leading to a widespread disregard for prohibition laws. The profitability of the illegal alcohol trade created a thriving black market that was difficult for law enforcement to control. The inability to effectively enforce prohibition, coupled with rampant corruption within law enforcement and political circles, eroded public support for the policy. The public's growing disillusionment with prohibition and the realization that organized crime was thriving under its provisions ultimately led to the repeal of the 18th Amendment in 1933. Historical significance and lessons learned. Al Capone's life and criminal career hold historical significance as they represent a tumultuous period in American history. Capone's ability to evade conviction for his violent crimes despite his well-known criminal activities exposed weaknesses within the justice system. His case highlighted the challenges faced by law enforcement in gathering evidence, ensuring witness cooperation, and effectively prosecuting powerful criminal figures. The legacy of Al Capone serves as a reminder of the importance of strong institutions, the rule of law, and robust enforcement efforts in combating organized crime. It also highlights the need for comprehensive policies that address the root causes of criminal activities and provide viable alternatives to the lucrative illicit markets that criminal organizations exploit.